Commander Aaron stood at the edge of the crystal platform, staring at the alien world below him. The planet Vetharis glowed like a sapphire under the light of its twin moons. It was beautiful, but cold. Silent. Watching. Just like its people. Aaron took a slow breath as the landing doors opened. The humid air of Earth was gone, replaced with a sharp metallic smell. The welcoming guards were tall, with silver skin and glowing red eyes. Their armor looked grown, not built, as if it had formed from living metal. They did not smile. They never did. Aaron stepped forward, his boots clicking on the smooth white floor. Every guard lifted their spears, but not in greeting. More like warning. A human diplomat was rare here. A human diplomat trusted was impossible. And today, Aaron was the only human on the entire planet. He reminded himself of his mission. Secure the treaty. Prevent war. Don't die. Simple. But nothing about this place felt simple. Two guards approached him. Their voices sounded like vibrating glass. Commander Aaron. The High Council waits for you in the throne hall. Aaron nodded and followed them through endless glowing corridors. The walls shimmered with moving patterns, like living circuits. Strange whispers vibrated everywhere, as if the palace itself was alive. But nothing prepared him for the throne hall. It was massive, bigger than any building he had ever seen. Giant pillars of blue crystal rose to the ceiling, each one humming with energy. Thousands of alien nobles stood in silent rows, their eyes fixed on him. Aaron felt like a mouse surrounded by wolves. The High Council stood in a circle, robes shining with golden threads. In the center, on a raised platform, stood Prince Kale. He was taller than the others, his silver skin glowing faintly. His hair floated like strands of light. His eyes, bright violet, sharp as blades. Aaron had seen recordings of the prince. But seeing him in person was different. Kale didn't look like a ruler. He looked like something ancient. Something dangerous. Something that did not make mistakes. And something that never whispered. The hall silenced when Aaron approached. The air itself felt heavy. A council elder stepped forward. Human Commander Aaron of Earth. You stand before Vetharis for peace discussions. Aaron opened his mouth to speak, but the elder raised a hand. Humans were not supposed to speak first. So he waited. And waited. And waited. Every alien in the hall stared at him, unblinking. Then the prince moved. Kale stepped down from his platform, his long robes gliding across the floor without a sound. He walked toward Aaron with slow, measured steps. The guards shifted nervously, as if even they didn't know why the prince was approaching. Kale stopped only a hand's distance away from Aaron. The silence deepened. Even the air felt frozen. Aaron kept his face calm, but his heart hammered painfully. Kale tilted his head, studying him as if he were examining a rare creature. Then, without warning, the prince leaned close, so close Aaron felt the faint warmth of his breath. In a voice that only Aaron could hear, Kale whispered. Human, come to my chambers tonight. Aaron stiffened. The whisper wasn't threatening. It wasn't seductive. It was something far more unsettling. It sounded like a warning. Before Aaron could respond, the prince straightened and walked away as if nothing had happened. The hall erupted with low murmurs. Several nobles exchanged worried glances. The High Council's leader cleared his throat. The meeting is concluded. Concluded? Aaron hadn't even spoken. He tried to protest, but two guards had already stepped beside him. This way, Commander. They escorted him out quickly, almost too quickly. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. Inside the guest quarters. Aaron's room was made of white stone and soft glowing lights. It was comfortable, but it felt like a cage. Two guards waited outside the door at all times. As soon as Aaron entered, his wrist communicator buzzed. It was his human team waiting in orbit. Commander, what happened down there? The broadcast suddenly ended. Aaron kept his voice low. "The prince whispered to me," he said. "He asked me to go to his chambers tonight." There was a long silence on the other end. "That sounds like a trap," his second-in-command said. "I know. Are you going?" Aaron looked at the shimmering walls around him. "I don't have a choice," he said. "The prince didn't ask. He instructed." He ended the call and sat on the edge of his bed, thinking. Why would an alien prince speak to him in secret? Why whisper? Why at the throne hall, in front of thousands? What game was Kale playing? Night fell quickly on Vetharis. The moons turned the sky pale blue, and shadows moved across the palace walls like drifting spirits. Aaron stared at the clock. 23:58. 2 minutes until midnight. He stood up. 23:59. He walked to the door. Midnight. The lights flickered. And a hidden panel in the wall slid open silently. A cloaked figure stepped into the room, a smaller alien, face hidden under a dark hood. The voice was quiet but urgent. "Commander Aaron, follow me." Aaron tensed. "Why are you here? Who sent you?" The figure leaned closer. The voice trembled. "The prince is waiting. If you refuse, you may not live to see sunrise." Aaron's heartbeat quickened. "Is this a threat?" he asked. The hooded figure shook their head quickly. "No, human. A truth. Many eyes watch you tonight. Not all of them wish peace." Aaron grabbed his jacket. "Fine," he said. "Take me to him." The figure nodded and opened the secret passage wider. A long, narrow corridor stretched ahead, dimly lit with blue lights embedded into the walls. As Aaron stepped inside, he looked back once at the quiet room. He wondered if he would ever return to it alive. The panel slid shut behind him. The secret corridor was colder than the palace halls. The walls were made of old stone, not crystal, and the floor felt uneven under Aaron's boots. This part of the palace looked ancient, forgotten. Not made for visitors. The cloaked guide walked fast, their head down, never looking back. Aaron kept a quiet distance, watching every move carefully. His instincts screamed danger, but turning back now felt even more dangerous. After several minutes, the guide finally spoke in a small, shaking voice. "You must keep your steps soft. The walls, they listen." Aaron frowned. "The walls?" The guide didn't answer, only walked faster. They reached a tight spiral staircase. It went upward, disappearing into darkness. The guide began to climb. "Is this the way to the prince's chambers?" Aaron asked. "Yes," the guide whispered. "But not the way the palace approves." That was not comforting. As they climbed, faint vibrations moved through the walls like whispers just out of hearing range. Aaron slowed, listening. It almost sounded like voices, hundreds of them, overlapping from every direction. "What is that?" Aaron asked. "The palace memory," the guide said softly. "It records every sound. Every step. Every whisper. But these stairs are old. Forgotten. The memory here is weak. That is why we use them." Aaron felt a chill. He suddenly understood why the prince would not ask him to meet through normal paths. If the palace recorded everything, then the whisper in the throne hall was heard by more than just him. Someone else knew. Someone dangerous. They reached a door carved with symbols Aaron couldn't read. The guide touched a glowing mark, and the door slid open silently. On the other side was a long hallway, quiet, empty, lined with soft white lights. The walls here were new, clean, perfect. A sharp contrast to the old tunnels behind them. The guide stopped. "I can take you no further." Aaron scanned their hooded face. "Tell me one thing first. Why is the prince meeting me in secret?" The guide's hands trembled slightly. "Because if the council discovers he trusts a human, he will lose his crown." Aaron's heart dropped. And what happens to me? The guide whispered. They will not let you leave Vetharis alive. The guide turned and vanished back into the shadows, leaving Aaron alone with a silent hallway and 1,000 questions. The prince's private chambers. Aaron moved carefully down the corridor. At the far end was a tall, shimmering door marked with silver patterns that flowed like liquid metal. As Aaron reached it, the door opened by itself. The room inside was nothing like he expected. There were no guards. No advisors. No symbols of royal power. Instead, warm blue lights glowed across smooth stone walls. Soft vines of energy floated in the air like gentle waves. A large window revealed the twin moons, casting light across the room. And at the center stood Prince Kael. Without his crown. Without armor. Without the cold expression he wore in public. He looked almost human. Almost tired. When Kael saw Aaron enter, he raised a hand. Close the door. The metal door glided shut. For a moment, neither spoke. Aaron studied the prince carefully. You asked me to come here, Aaron finally said. Now tell me why. Kael looked out the window before speaking. Because you are in danger, Commander. Aaron forced a breath. From who? Kael turned sharply, his violet eyes glowing brighter. From my own people. From the council. From the generals. From old forces in this palace that do not want peace with Earth. Aaron crossed his arms. Then why whisper to me in front of thousands? Kael walked slowly toward him. His voice lowered. Because a whisper cannot be erased. Not even by the palace memory. It was the only way to send a message without the council stopping it. Aaron felt a chill. Message? What message? Kael whispered again, quiet, urgent. You were not chosen for this mission by chance. Aaron frowned. I don't understand. Kael took a breath, as if steadying himself. Commander Aaron, 10 years ago, you saved a refugee ship that entered Earth's orbit. Yes? Aaron nodded. A damaged vessel. Alien survivors. Children mostly. Their ship was nearly collapsing. Kael met his eyes. I was one of those children. Aaron froze. The room felt suddenly smaller. Kael continued, voice softer now, but more intense. You saved my life that day. Earth thinks it was just a rescue. But the council, they saw it as an act of interference. They never forgave humanity for stepping into their affairs. Aaron's mind raced. So this is personal to you. It is more than personal, Kael said. It is political. The council wants war. They want control. The generals believe Earth is growing too powerful. They plan to strike first. Aaron's chest tightened. When? Kael hesitated. Soon. Very soon. The weapon they built. A loud alarm suddenly echoed through the walls. Both men turned sharply. Kael whispered, No, they found us. The lights flickered. Heavy footsteps rushed down the hallway outside. The prince grabbed Aaron's arm. We must leave. Now. Aaron followed Kael toward a hidden exit at the side of the room, another unmarked panel that slid open to reveal a narrow passage. But before they could enter, the door behind them exploded inward, sending shards of metal flying. 3 armored soldiers stormed in, weapons glowing with bright red energy. One pointed his weapon at Kael. The prince has broken council command. Seize him. Kael shoved Aaron aside just as a blast shot across the room, leaving a burning mark on the floor. Aaron ducked behind a stone pillar. Kael leaped toward a control panel and pressed something. The glowing vines on the walls brightened, releasing a burst of blue energy that slammed into the soldiers and threw them backward. Move! Kael yelled. Aaron sprinted with him into the hidden passage. The door sealed behind them, muffling the shouts and heavy pounding on the other side. The passage was dark and steep, leading down into unknown depths. Aaron grabbed Kael's arm. Why are they attacking you? You're the prince. Kale looked back, breathing hard, eyes glowing with anger and pain. Because I choose peace. And those who choose peace become enemies of war. Aaron swallowed. And what does that make me? Kale answered without hesitation. My only ally. The tunnel shook as another explosion hit the sealed door above them. Kale pulled Aaron deeper into the shadows. We must reach the lower chambers, Kale said. The truth you need, the truth that can save both our worlds, is hidden there. Aaron steadied his breath and followed. The darkness thickened. The air grew colder. And below them, somewhere in the silent depths of the palace, a secret waited. A secret powerful enough to destroy Earth. Or save it. The deeper Aaron and Prince Kale went, the colder the air became. The narrow passage spiraled down like a throat swallowing them into darkness. Strange blue symbols glowed faintly on the walls, shifting shapes as the light moved. Aaron touched one of the symbols. It felt warm, like a heartbeat. What is this place? He asked. Kale slowed his steps. His voice was quiet. This is the oldest part of Vetharis. Built before our cities, before our empire. Only the royal bloodline can enter. Aaron scanned the dim shapes in the darkness. And what's hidden down here? Kale looked ahead, eyes glowing purple in the shadows. The weapon the council built. The one meant for Earth. Aaron felt a cold fear inside him. How powerful is it? Kale answered without looking back. Powerful enough to erase a planet. Powerful enough to erase yours. A sharp metallic sound echoed behind them. Footsteps. Many. They're following us, Aaron whispered. Yes, Kale said. But we will reach the core first. They hurried forward, the tunnel growing wider until it opened into a massive underground chamber. It stretched so far that Aaron couldn't see the walls, only floating shards of crystal that hung in the air like frozen stars. At the center of the chamber, humming with a deep, low sound, was a huge circular machine. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Light flowed through its rings in slow circles. Aaron sensed the energy immediately. This thing, it feels alive. It is, Kale said. The council calls it a silent star. It draws energy from dying suns. Once unleashed, it cannot be stopped. Aaron felt his stomach twist. And they plan to use it on Earth? Kale nodded. Unless we stop it tonight. The betrayer reveals himself. A soft clapping echoed through the chamber. Aaron turned sharply. A figure stepped out from behind a large crystal shard. The hooded guide. The same one who led Aaron to the prince's chambers. But now the hood was down. Revealing sharp silver features, dark eyes, and a cruel smile. Aaron felt rage rise in him. You led me into a trap? The betrayer bowed mockingly. You humans are so trusting. One whisper and you follow like a lost animal. Kale stepped in front of Aaron, anger radiating from him. Rayless. I should have known. The traitor Rayless spread his arms. Your father gave me everything, Prince Kale. Power, status, respect. But you? You want peace. Weakness. I will not follow a weak prince. Kale's eyes burned brighter. You betrayed the crown. You betrayed your own world. Rayless laughed. No. I saved it. The council agrees with me. War with Earth is the only path. He pointed at Aaron. And once the human is dead, nothing will stop the council from firing the silent star. Aaron clenched his fists. You're insane. Rayless smiled wider. No. I am loyal. With a swift motion, Rayless pressed a control device strapped to his wrist. The entire chamber shook. Lights brightened. The silent star began to spin faster, rings shifting as the hum grew louder. Kale's voice dropped in horror. He activated it. Aaron stepped toward the machine. How long until it fires? Kale's gaze hardened. 3 hours. But once it reaches full charge, even I cannot stop it. Raylis raised an energy blade. And you won't live long enough to try. The fight for the core. Raylis lunged at Kale with inhuman speed. The prince barely blocked the strike, energy crackling between their blades. Aaron ducked behind a pillar of crystal as sparks flew across the chamber. Kale fought like a storm, fast, sharp, unstoppable. But Raylis was stronger than Aaron expected. Every strike pushed Kale back a step. Aaron looked around desperately. He couldn't fight like them, but he could think like a human. And humans were good at impossible things. Aaron spotted a control node attached to the base of the silent star. It pulsed with bright red light. That looks important, he whispered. He dashed toward it, staying low as Kale and Raylis battled across the chamber. Their blades clashed, lighting the room with bursts of purple and red energy. The node hummed louder as Aaron approached. He tapped its surface. A freezing shock shot up his arm. He hissed in pain. Kale shouted across the room. Aaron! Don't touch that! But it was too late. Aaron's hand was now locked onto the node. Energy surged around him, crackling across his skin. His vision blurred. Humans, Raylis sneered. So fragile. But Aaron grit his teeth and pulled with all his strength. Something inside the node snapped, one of the glowing circuits cracked. The silent star sputtered. Kale's eyes widened. Aaron! You disconnected the stabilizer. Aaron stumbled back, coughing. Is that bad? Kale grabbed his arm and pulled him back. That is dangerous. Very dangerous. The star is charging faster now. If we do not shut it down completely, it will destroy this planet first. Raylis snarled. You little. But Kale struck him with a blast of raw energy that sent him flying across the chamber. Raylis hit a stone pillar, collapsed, and didn't rise. Kale knelt beside Aaron. You risked everything. Why? Aaron looked up, breathing hard. Because humans don't wait for miracles. We make them. For a moment, Kale stared at him as if seeing a different kind of strength, one the aliens had never understood. Then he stood. Come. There is one way to stop the silent star. The final revelation. Kale led Aaron to the very heart of the chamber, a glowing crystal console shaped like a ring. Strange symbols spiraled across its surface. This machine is tied to the royal bloodline, Kale said. Only I can shut it down. Aaron nodded. Do it. Kale placed both hands on the crystal. It immediately reacted, glowing brighter, too bright. Kale gasped and fell to his knees. Aaron grabbed him. Kale. The prince's voice shook. It's too much. The council locked the controls. If I force a shutdown, it will kill me. Aaron's grip tightened. There has to be another way. Kale looked at him with soft, fading eyes. There is. But you won't like it. Aaron shook his head. Tell me. Kale hesitated, then. The system reads two types of energy, royal blood and human neural patterns. Aaron blinked. Meaning? Kale whispered. We must shut it down together. Human and royal. Your mind, my bloodline. But the pain will be unbearable. Aaron laughed weakly. I'm from Earth. We endure worse pain every Monday morning. Kale smiled faintly. Together, Aaron placed his hand on the crystal beside Kale's. A blinding surge of energy shot through both of them. Aaron screamed. Kale gritted his teeth. The machine wailed like a dying star. The floor shook. Cracks split across the chamber. The silent star's ring slowed, then stopped. The hum died. The light faded. The weapon went silent. They collapsed beside each other, panting. Kale whispered weakly. You saved my world. Again. Aaron smiled. You're welcome. Epilogue, A New Dawn. Guards arrived minutes later, led by loyalists who had discovered the council's plot. Raylis was arrested. The council was removed from power. Kale, bruised but alive, stood before the new royal court. He looked at Aaron. This human fought for Vetharis when Vetharis turned on him. Aaron met his gaze. And this prince trusted a human when no one else did. Kale stepped closer. My chambers, Kale whispered softly, will always remain open to you. For the first time since arriving on the alien world, Aaron smiled. Peace had a chance. And it began, with a whisper.